Hi, it's Faye here. As always, I am blessed to be here. Originally, I was going to be uploading this next video in reference to my previous video, Supernatural Power. Is it real? However, because of everything that's going on in our nation today, I am led to do a video on protesting a courageous act by a courageous people. It is sad that our law enforcement has come to the point of protesting, yet happy that we are taking a stand against unjust and prejudiced acts. Isaiah 56 and 1 says, "Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice," meaning maintain justice and do what is right. Be just and fair to all. Every protester who has taken a stand for justice, condemning police brutality toward African Americans, for George Floyd and all the others whom have been victimized by unjust and dehumanizing acts, and for holding law enforcement accountable for their misconduct of power and authority, should be commended for their courage to take a stand. Protesters, you are in the will of God. Isaiah 1 and 17 says, "Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widows," meaning do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless. In other words, we are to go after justice. Malachi 6 and 8 says, "He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justice, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God." Meaning the Lord require an operation of a just system. There is a demand and order attached to the law enforcement, and it's directly from God. And we as believers and people of the land, we have an obligation to demand justice for our people. You are doing the work of God. True protesters are standing up for a change in the justice system that will not only affect the African American being the focus, but those of low class status into every race of this nation. Yes, police brutality is more predominantly among the African Americans, yet surfaces every race due to misuse and misinterpretation of power and authority being placed in the wrong hands. 1 Corinthians 15 and 58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abiding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain." I come to remind you today that your labor is not in vain. Galatians 5 and 1 says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage," meaning it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm and do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. Therefore, it is time to stand up, take the front line, and say no more. But it should be done peacefully. 1 Corinthians 14 and 33 says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." Romans 14:19 says, "Let us therefore follow after the things which make peace, and things wherewith one may edify another." In other words, make effort to have peace and mutual edification. To all who are demonstrating a peaceful protest, enforcing a change not only for the present but also for the future, understanding a distinction between protesting versus looting, destruction, violence, murdering, and the list goes on, which these are not protesting but rioting, which sees the moment as opportunity for self-gain. Matthew 13:27-29 speaks of the seed and the tares. And as I paraphrase it, the householder came to the master and asked the master, "Did not you plant good seed in the field? Why then are there tares in the field?" And the master answered and said, "An enemy has placed them there." For everyone who is listening and looking on the protesting, maybe participating in the protesting, know that protesting is an honorable movement when operating in peace and solidarity, which promotes positive change. Ephesians 4:3 says, "Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace." In other words, make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. As for George Floyd and all the others concerned, let the nation continue to cry out peacefully, not only through protest, but also through petitions. And we could also go a little further and help our brother and sister by having each other's back. If you see your people stopped by authorities, take the time to stop. Video the scene if needed. Even follow them to the station if they are being apprehended to ensure their safety. There are ways that we can hold law enforcement accountable for justice even after the protest is over. Remember, it was a video that may end misuse of authority and power in our African Americans and in other races. We look for solutions through peace and wisdom. Power comes in unity. And as we pray and uplift everyone on the front line battle, the true protesters, for God has strengthened you for this moment. Be courageous, for God is with you. As always, I love you and be blessed.